Should you sell tracing paper on Amazon, or should you avoid it like the plague? Welcome to another episode of Niche Spotlight. It's Ollie here. We're going to have a look at this niche, see whether it would crush it on Amazon or whether you should avoid it like the plague. I've actually gone ahead and created a professional version of the smash hit product cheat sheet to do this analysis. You can download this with a link in the description below, 100% free, and then you can use it while we analyze this niche. You can follow along. You can also use it to analyze other niches on Amazon, and it will help you just break down the product analysis process a little bit. So as always, we're going to be looking at the smash hit product radar to decide whether this is a good niche or not. We want to see if there's high demand, make sure people are buying this product. Low competition, so you can get your product visible because there aren't too many competitors. Low hassle, we don't want it to be a nightmare to import. And a gap, we want to be able to differentiate, do something different, better than the other sellers in the marketplace. Fill a gap so customers go, yes, I want to buy your product, not all the other ones. This is the cheat sheet we're going to use to analyze it. Okay, so as you can see, we're going to give the product a score out of 100, and that's broken down into 5 different sections, and each one gives it a score out of 20. Okay, and each one has certain criteria we want to meet, which will influence the score, and you can use your best judgment to give each section a score. So let's have a look. Starting with levels of demand, we want 3K sellers to make this a high demand niche. So I've sorted by revenue with AMZ Scout. You can use Jungle Scout, AMZ Scout, Helium 10, Amazon, whatever you want to do this. And I can see there's a seller here making £9,258 selling this product. So definitely a lot of demand for tracing paper. I think I used to use it at school. Actually, the last time I used it, probably I was about 11. But people use it for art, for design, for all kinds of things, and it just sells really well. How many 3K sellers are there then? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 3K sellers. So, long story short, yes, this is a high demand niche, and people want to buy it. That's good. We're going where the money is. What about levels of competition? Are there 5 or less established sellers with 500 reviews or more? Let's have a look. See how many 500 review sellers there are. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Interesting. So no, there isn't 5 or less. There's 8. So there's a bit of competition in this niche actually. Are there any brands, recognizable national brands, that would be difficult to compete with? Well, Wintex, never heard of. Stationery and Craft Select, never heard of. None of these jump out at me as being really recognizable brands that a customer might be magnetized towards, rather than, you know, the average kind of Wintex or someone who's just a private label seller. So I'm going to say, actually, yes, there are no brands. Okay, so that's a good sign for levels of competition. Low hassle. Could you make it yourself? Well, it's paper. I conceptually understand how it's made. They use wood, don't they? And then they like mulch it down and then press it, and etc, etc, etc. Would I make it myself? Probably not, but I believe I could. I could probably get the machine that makes the paper and get the materials that makes the paper and make it. It's not like trying to make a fridge or something, which sounds like an absolute nightmare. So yes, in theory, I could make it myself. The reason we ask this question is because if you can understand conceptually how it's made, unless you're like, you know, an actual engineer or something who knows how to make it. If you're like, say, average person when it comes to knowledge of this product and you understand how it's made, then the chances are it's going to be really easy to manufacture. All right, it's not going to be difficult, and that means it's low hassle. Is it a low hassle category? Well, a low hassle category: home and kitchen, pets, baby, office and stationery supplies, sports and outdoors. This is in stationery and office supplies, right? So it's a low hassle category. So yes. Is it seasonal? Well, I think people will buy tracing paper all year round. I don't see why, you know, it's not like Christmas decorations or something, which clearly is only going to be sold in, say, November, December. So yeah, it's not seasonal. What about the dimensions? Really, we want it to be under 1 kilogram and we want it to fit in a shoebox. Let's have a look at the dimensions here. I'm going to click on one of the products, go down to product details, have a look at product dimensions. It's 30 centimeters by 20 by 0.29, and it's 205 grams. So yes, it's small, it's light. Will it fit in a shoebox? I mean, if you squish it, it probably will, but the point is it'll fit through a letterbox. It's not oversized, and it's easy to import and ship to customers. So yeah, the dimensions are good. What about gap in the marketplace? Are there issues with the current products being sold? Now, to be honest, as far as I would guess, tracing paper is pretty much tracing paper. I don't know if there's issues with it. We could have a look to see. It's always good to just look at the market and see if people are complaining about anything. I mean, people always find something to complain about, but I would have thought that tracing paper is tracing paper. Having said that, the number one bestseller's got 3.6 out of 5 reviews, so there must be something wrong here. Yeah, who knows? Very thin and flimsy tracing paper. Okay, right. So we can offer thicker tracing paper if that's possible, and then we'll be better than the bestseller. We'll beat the bestseller. Quite easily ripped, but easy to work through. Okay. Cheap. Apparently it's cheap. Terrible quality, more like tissue paper. Okay, so we get the point here, right? It's thin. So there is actually an obvious problem, and it's funny, in a niche where I thought there would never be one, there's an issue here. We can offer thicker, better quality tracing paper, and immediately we've beaten the bestseller and we've got something better. And they've got a faulty product and they're making 9k a month. So come along with an amazing product, you could make more than that. Okay. Are there any bundles in the niche? We want to have a look. Is anybody offering something alongside the tracing paper, selling it as a set, and therefore setting themselves aside from the competition? I mean, at first glance, I can't see anything. It all just looks like packs of tracing paper. Let's have a look. Okay, this one seems to come with these. So they're doing some kind of bundle. I want to have a little look. With 5 pieces double-ended tracing stylus. Interesting. Okay, so there is a bundle. I don't think it's on page 1. I think they've used an advert to actually get it appearing on page 1. They're making £72 a month, right? So not exactly crushing it just yet. But yeah, there is a bundle. Let's see if there's any more. Yeah, as far as I can see, no more bundles. So there is a bundle. So we have to say no. Definitely not no bundles. But there isn't many, and that bundle isn't exactly crushing it. So you could potentially offer the tracing paper with a bonus item that's better than those 5 styluses or whatever it was, and you could add value to the market, fill a gap in the marketplace, because there's a gap, there's no bundle, and therefore you could beat all the competition. Alright, so I'm going to score each one of these, and then we can think about hunch and give an overall score as well. So what about the levels of demand? Well, the demand's fantastic. I mean, there's a seller making 9k a month. There was, 8 3k sellers. It just looks great. So I'm going to give it a 17 out of 20. Pretty solid demand in this niche. What about low competition? Well, there was more than 5 established sellers. I think there was about 8 again. So the competition is probably more like medium competition. I wouldn't say it's low competition. But there are no brands, so it's not the end of the world. I'm going to give it a 12 out of 20. Competition. Low hassle, could you make it yourself? Yes. Low hassle category? Yes. Not seasonal? Yes. Dimensions are very good as well. So very low hassle product. For low hassle, I'm also going to give it a 17 out of 20. What about gap? There are issues in the marketplace. The number one bestseller is just too thin, apparently, the product. But there is a bundle. There's only one, but there is a bundle. So for gap, I'm going to give it 13. Pretty good. There's a gap. In fact, you know what? That's too harsh. I think the gap's pretty strong, because that number one bestseller really does have a big issue. So actually, I'm going to give it 15 out of 20, because I think there is a big gap there. There's a big opportunity there. All right, so moving on. Hunch. Now you'll notice there's no criteria next to hunch, because it's more about a feeling and just a general kind of, it's almost like, what's my intuition saying about the product? And I take certain factors into account. The one criteria I could possibly put near hunch would be the price point, and that's one thing I usually consider, but not always. I always believe there's a way to make profit, even with a low price point. As long as it's kind of $5.99 and above, there will be a way to make profit, even with a low price. So it's not always the thing that I take into account. But it usually does come up when I'm trying to come up with a hunch, because remember, you want to be able to make profit with your product. The more profit there is, the higher price there is, the more profit there could be. Everything else tells you whether you'll make sales, but the price tells you whether you'll make profit. So that does affect the hunch, but there's other things too. I mean, the price point generally relatively low, right? But there are a few sellers charging a bit more. This person's charging $16.99 and they're making £3,600 a month, right? So that shows that if you do offer slightly higher priced products into the market, you can make sales, right? Also, this one's really cheap, just as a reviewer said, but it's really thin and not good quality. So if you can offer better quality, then you will beat the best seller. And you obviously, to have better quality, you'll charge more as well. People will pay more as well. So the price point's low, but you can charge more, and I would charge more if I was going to enter into this niche. Seems like a pretty good product to sell. The competition is a little bit higher than I would want, but the demand's there. So as long as you can offer something the marketplace really wants, I'd say I've got an okay hunch about this product. And really it's extremely low hassle as well. So I'm actually going to give it a 15 out of 20 for hunch. So let's add up all these scores and see what we get for this product out of 100. So we've got 17 for high demand, 20 for competition, 17 for low hassle, 15 for gap, and 15 for hunch. That gives us a 76 out of 100 for this product. That's a pretty high score for a niche. This product could work very well. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you want to get some help launching your Amazon business, click the link below and you can book in your Amazon Accelerator call. What we'll do on this call is we'll talk about your goals first and get really clear on where you want to go, what kind of business you want to build, and where you want to live, how much you want to earn, all that kind of stuff. When we're clear on your goals, then we'll talk about where you're starting from right now. So how's your life at the moment? What's good about it? What's bad about it? What budget are you starting with? How much stuff have you done with Amazon so far? If it's nothing, that's fine. As long as we know where you're starting from, that's good. Then we can map out the steps it will take for you to get from where you're starting from now all the way to hitting the goal, right? And once we've done that, we'll get really clear on the plan for you to build it, and we can talk about how I can actually help you with that. I can actually help you research a product that will be way better than this product, right? I can help you get the products shipped from China using my product concierge service and into the Amazon warehouse. I can help you get a listing created to give your product the best chance and get it loads of sales as soon as it gets live on Amazon. And we can help you with the whole process. We can even give you one-to-one coaching. So if you want, click the link in the description, book in a call, we can have a chat. Can't wait to help you build your business. And I'll catch up very, very soon.